reacting live to a Mercy rework somebody sent me in my community. If you want to send me your own reworks, the link to my Discord is in the description below. And if you like this stuff, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you like it. Okay, anyways. Mercy rework. I have not seen this. Live reaction. I see already it says numbers subject to change. Obviously, that's something that is, we aren't on the balance team. This is all theoretical. Makes sense. But yeah, let's see what this is. I've actually done a Mercy rework myself. I want to see what they like or appreciate. Like if they have anything similar. I doubt they've seen that video because it was one of my earlier ones. But like, maybe we're in the same headspace. Who knows? Okay, general changes. Mercy herself gains 40% more ult charge from damage done by damage boost, mainly quality of life, but is a buff. I agree with that. If damage boost is going to exist, which it sounds like it is, damage boost, it does feel kind of backwards that like you don't get any ult charge at all from damage boosting. I feel like that's just it feels better, right? I feel like that's just more of like a feel type of thing. So I agree with that. If damage boost is going to exist, it just makes it more engaging, just that little bit more. Okay, Resurrect, new ultimate. So Rez is back on the ult. Let's see how this works. It's single target, works exactly as it does now. So exactly like it does. It just reses somebody, just straight up, full health, everything. Lowered activation time to 0.75 seconds. They shaved a full second. So basically, again, number subject to change, but drastically decreased the time to cast res. It is an ultimate. Removed movement penalty while channeling. So, okay, so you still channel it, but there's no movement penalty. Is that potentially disastrous? Like, will you be like accidentally flying out of it way more? Obviously, like, you can control that and you can figure it out, but I feel like the movement penalty is kind of there for a reason. But increased ult cost by 25 to 30%. You'll see why. Okay. The point of this rework is to take power out of Resurrect and shove it into more active parts of her kit while keeping Res as a strong ult. Also note that Res doesn't reset Guardian Angel, so Mercy has to be careful when diving to Res. Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. Putting a single target Res as an ultimate ability, that probably is way healthier, right? Way healthier. And of course, since it is an ult, it gets a couple of buffs to compensate to make sure it's not worthless. So you know what? I'll give you that, right? That's a decent way to keep res in the kit. Now, is that a very powerful ult at the end of the day? I don't think so. I don't think one res every however long, especially with the increased ult cost, but I guess it'll probably even out. I don't think that's like having a res every 2-3 fights, maybe not that powerful, right? So I would assume that a lot of her power is going into her kit, which it sounds like it probably is. All right, Caduceus staff, healing beam. Healing is now higher. Basically, I think. It is just still a healing beam. No real changes here. Damage boost beam renamed to amplification beam. Oh, reduced damage boost amount from 25 to 20%, but now also grants 20% increased movement speed. Ooh. Note that the speed boost effect lingers for 1.5 seconds as to prevent potential sickness from rapid beam changes. Okay. 1.5 is a lot, by the way. I don't know if that, it maybe, again, number subjects change, but I get the idea here, right? Movement, it's just movement speed. So then you're going to be constantly trying to keep up with them. You have Guardian Angel, yeah, but are they going to be like out running you? You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe not. This is, to me, I'm not. Okay, let's talk about the two things here, right? So pocket play style. This introduces pocket play style. This is pocket, right? Higher healing output, again, effective HP wins duels, not damage, really. Damage is more for when you don't know, and it's more surprising. Effective HP wins a one on one duel. So healing higher is pocket, right? That is giving the pocket more. Having a speed on that, it also encourages Mercy to just be sticking with one person in the back line and like them going further and further than her swapping around different targets, which I think is what we want. Um, but also, what you have to be careful with this speed sticking around for a couple seconds is that you can just like basically give somebody a second and a half of speed, right? You can just be like, go through the choke, and you just you click on everybody once, like very rapidly, and now you've given you can like refresh speed all the time. You've given your team like a big like weird speed boost. That's very powerful, and could be really strange in my opinion. That's not as much of the problem. I feel like the pocket playstyle here is really like amplified, and I feel like we should be working away from that. Um, but we'll keep going for now. Valkyrie, new secondary ability. Given a 12-second cooldown, cooldown starts after ability is finished. Reduced duration of 5. Oh, so this is like swapping Valk in as an ability. Reduced Guardian Angel distance, reduced beam length. Valk still resets GA. Healing beam and Valk bypass. Whoa! Healing beam and Valk bypasses all anti-healing effects. There's got to be a better way to do this, right? I feel like that doesn't feel. Oh my god, Discord. Discord, please. Okay. I feel like that doesn't feel as good. Like, game feel wise, right? I feel like you want. The game, there shouldn't be abilities that just bypass mechanics, right? I don't agree that Winston Tesla Cannon just ignores armor. I don't think an anti-heal should be ignored. Then what is the point of Ana, right? Like, what is the point of anti, right? It's just like, well, I got his big anti off, but then Mercy just popped her ability that just ignores it. Like, a cleanse is one thing, right? But just like an ability that just straight up ignores anti, that doesn't make sense to me. If you maybe like held the beam on somebody in Valk for a couple seconds or like a duration of time while they're antied, then it would cleanse, right? Then you're effectively doing the same thing, but the interactions are still like, they still make sense, right? There's nothing that just like, like this isn't a heal block, except for this one ability, which just kind of ignores it, right? I feel like there's just a better way to implement that, right? Valkyries, and I also assume it's the DPS passive too, right? It just cleanses, or it would go through DPS passive. Valkyrie's main healing beam is 65 while Valk, so just a little higher in Valk. Chain beams healing is now less. So there's still chain beams as an ability. Amplification beams affect both, get amplified to 30% and go back to 20 when Valk is over. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Torb Overload, because it is an ability that just amplifies what a character already does, right? I mean, that's what Valk is, but that's kind of like an old, different thing. Torb Overload just gives him some more health, and he fires faster, right? He just makes him it makes him a better character for a couple of seconds, right? That is what this is to me. To me, this is not very interesting. And this doesn't really solve any problems of Mercy, and it doesn't, like, change her playstyle that much at the end of the day. Like, it's just, like, I don't know. To me, this doesn't seem very interesting and doesn't really add many dynamics to Mercy, other than just, I'm going to ignore anti-healing or, reduced healing effects. So, let's see what else is in here. Just before. Guardian Angel. Canceling Guardian Angel early extends during extended Guardian Angels causes the ability to go on cooldown. What do they mean by that? Canceling Guardian Angel early during extended Guardian Angels causes the ability to go on cooldown. Extended Guardian Angel, like, is that when you're? I don't know what this means. Is it like slingshot? Is that what they're talking about? Um, Performing an extended Guardian Angels when the Guardian Angel meter is filled to 30% or less will count as micro movements. Micro movements have a 1.5 second cooldown like regular Guardian Angels. Hold on. So is that in the slingshot? So so if you do a slingshot with a lot of movement, right? Like one that is fully charged, right? Then it's gonna go on complete cooldown. And then if you do one that's like super little, it's gonna go on like a lesser cooldown. I think that's what this is saying. I think that's fine, but I also think that casting Guardian Angel too much gives Mercy too much, like too high of a range of motion, and it's too hard to pin her down. There needs to be some counterplay to Guardian Angel. Right now, it's that you have to wait for Slingshot to happen before you can actually like know where her actual like where she's gonna end up. If you have a way for her to like get around that and like also have Guardian Angel back way quicker and just be like, I'm gonna slingshot and then do a micro slingshot, and then basically by the time this is done, I'll have another Guardian Angel. And I feel like that's too high of a range of motion. I might be a little wrong, but that it, to me seems like a little much. Sympathetic recovery reverted to 25%. Mercy also received 20% speed boost when using. There we go. So Mercy can keep up with the speed boost. That to me also just exemplifies that pocket playstyle, right? That she can keep up with whoever is going super far in the back line or whatever, with her flanker. Like, she can pocket Soldier, Sojourn. She could probably even keep up a little better with some of the deeper flankers as well. I'm sure that applies to Guardian Angel as well, so she could probably get herself out of danger really quickly. That is kind of interesting that she can control how fast she goes in Guardian Angel and like change her speed. And then there's like some high skill about like when you're boosting people and when you use Guardian Angel. That's some interesting moment to moment gameplay. Also, Angelic Descent, she goes fast. She moves further around while she's falling, like Echo. But yeah, to be honest with you, I just don't see how this fixes Mercy's like frustrations, right? I feel like this would make her a little more interesting to play and get rid of Rez. So okay, like so Rez is no longer frustrating, right? At least not in the same capacity. It's an ultimate, you can track it, you can deny it, you don't have to just camp bodies all the time because like, oh, she doesn't have ult, so I don't have to worry about this, right? Um However, the pocket play style is not gone. In fact, it's exemplified here, and I feel like Mercy wants to be bouncing around between targets more often, right? I feel like a lot of times with Mercy, the rework, like if you're proposing a Mercy rework idea, you want it to come with a way to be like, how do I bounce around? How do I play Mercy more effectively? How do I use her movement more effectively? How do I somehow give stuff to every part of my team, right? Like, how do I provide value not just to one person, but to everybody? I want to be swapping around. That's the moment to moment gameplay loop, and like figuring out that's the skill of Mercy that I feel like we want to exemplify. It's like figuring out who to boost when, where to be, what to do, instead of being on one person. And the one thing is that at the beginning of the game, who do I want to sit with, right? And then of course like you have the res and everything. But yeah, I'm not like, there's some stuff in here I feel like is are good changes or good ideas in the right spot, but I'm not a really big fan of Valkyrie just being on an ability. And that's I'm not really a big fan of keeping damage boost. In fact, I think that single target damage boosts in this game are pretty unhealthy. Damage boosts in general have been really problematic, but the reason why single target damage boost is really unhealthy is because it has to be stronger, and it just breaks so many breakpoints that we have to balance characters around what they do by themselves, and also we have to balance how strong they are with a mercy. And that is just too much, and that to me is not like a good balance philosophy. It is something that has to be considered about, like, how much damage does this do with a mercy boost? How much doesn't it do, right? I would much rather take that out of the equation in general and find a new solution. But again, there are some good things in here, some good changes, some good suggestions. So thank you so much for sending it in. I do really appreciate it. I hope you appreciate the feedback as well. And that is going to do it for this video. If you guys like this stuff, I do a lot of rework suggestions myself, but also talking about other people's rework suggestions on my YouTube. So please feel free to subscribe if you want to see more. Also do like, comment, any of that YouTube stuff while you're at it. It does really help me out. If you want to get in on these discussions live, they are filmed at twitch.tv/Lane Hemingway. I try to do some kind of discussion every single time I go live. So there's always something to talk to me about. If you want to send me, again, your own, that is going to be the Discord link in my description. The rest of my socials are down there as well. With all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good day.